Chorale is one of the few units that actually received a buff very quickly after its initial release. While it's obvious that he wasn't really Sephiroth, it's pretty telling that he was so underwhelming that he had to be buffed after his release. Chorale's Trustmaster reward is a materia that boosts some of your unit's elemental resistance by 20% and gives them a double demon killer. It's extraordinarily niche. The killer buff goes without saying, really, though it's not that bad, but the elemental resistance is just so low to be little more than a general afterthought. His Super Trustmaster reward is the strongest dark whip in the game, but also has the misfortune of being a whip. Not that whips are bad, just heavily neglected. Onto his active abilities. His damaging abilities chain with Bolting Strike, Provoke, Libra, Abyss Whip deals dark damage and lowers the enemy's dark resistance by 120%. Cutting Punishment inflicts an 80% full break. Evil Repelling Whip raises his attack by 300% and gives him a powerful demon killer buff. Fatal Punishment can be used 4 times per battle and hits everyone. Passives. With his Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward equipped, he gains a partial provoke buff and more stats if he's holding a single weapon. He deals increased damage against demons, has a high boost to his limit burst damage, and a good amount of physical evasion. His normal attacks chain with Bolting Strike, and, quite notably, he can only hold whips. Not that whips are bad, just heavily neglected. Let's look at its limit burst. It deals damage, lowers the enemy's defense by 87%, and lowers their light and dark resistance by an excellent 130%. Unfortunately, the effect's turn duration isn't very long, so you have to make sure to capitalize on them before they expire. Time to change forms. His Brave Shift doesn't have a turn duration, but it does have a 2-turn cooldown. Active abilities. He still chains with Bolting Strike, but all of his attacks now deal dark damage. Shadow Whip Spiral gets stronger with each use, raises his attack by 250%, and increases his dark damage by 20%. Drowning Punishment raises his attack by 300%, gives him a strong aquatic and human killer buff, and raises his dark damage by 20%. Dark Knight's Whip can be used 4 times per battle and deals big damage. Passives. His killers have shifted to aquatics and humans, and that's about all there is to it. Let's look at its limit burst. It deals dark damage and Chains of Protector's Bayonet. Let's rank Brave abilities. I'd prioritize Shadow Whip Spiral to raise the increased consecutive damage modifier, and feel free to do whatever with the other two. It just raises their damage output, and while that's fine and dandy, you're not going to get much out of them aside from their other effects. Time to make a damage rotation. On turn 1, activate his Brave Shift, cast Drowning Punishment, Abyss Whip, and Shadow Whip Spiral. For the next 3 turns, triple cast Shadow Whip Spiral. Make sure to top off your best turns of Dark Knight's Whip whenever you can. On turn 5, repeat the rotation again. So how good is Chorale? His Brave Shift takes an interesting approach by turning him into a single target damage dealer, which, wow, shut up and take my money. All of Chorale's abilities in his base form hits multiple enemies, which doesn't bode well for high scores in Dark Visions. As a damage dealer, he's capable, but not too impressive in light of our most recent units. To be fair, most of them had the advantage of additional modifiers, so it can't be helped that Chorale, who's pretty straightforward, has an inherent disadvantage to begin with. And while he does have decent breaks at his disposal, 80% tends to lag behind other prominent breakers, while 87% 2-turn defense break isn't really mind-blowing either. Now, while I may have absolutely destroyed Chorale's reputation, I must stress that he's a decent unit. A lot of drawbacks simply stem from his competition. There are just so many other damage dealers with better, faster breaks or a more comprehensive kit. Sometimes both. Breaks are incredibly useful in this game, and even going 5% higher often has a fairly significant difference when it counts. Still, if breaks won't apply and all you're looking for is chaining damage, Chorale is a strong pick. So long as you have a good whip, that is. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe. Has anyone noticed that his Brave Shift sweeps his hair over his other eye? My, how suave.